right now. So I was doing this earlier. I just noticed a comment on that, and I can actually cause this test to fail. And just by updating this file, it'll rerun the test case only once. It doesn't loop. And people have been asking how I'm doing that using VI and Vim. It's actually a pretty simple combination of scripts, which I'll just quickly go through. So these are all my dot files. My dot files are accessible from rdbxrob.live, which links you to gitlab.rdbxrob. And here's my dot files. I recently just rebased the whole thing. And you can click on that, and you can go specifically into scripts directory, and you can see where they all are here. I mean, some of them are better than others, but this is just kind of organic. But yeah, GOTT is right here, and I'm going to show you in the terminal here so you can read it better. It's not very much to it, actually. So I'm actually just going to call it up. VIC is a way for me to be OpenVI. I'll just show you. So VIC, what is it? It's a command that what is VIC? VIC is a command that opens up one command. It's like super easy to do it that way. I don't have to go look there. So VIC GOTT, and it's just, this actually is designed to be run from a Tmux pane, and it runs a GOT tool, which is just go test, and I'll show you that in a second. And then it runs another program called onChange, and onChange just onChange will just run whatever this command is with these commands. If anything in the current directory or any subdirectory changes. Let me show you those. The GOT is actually super easy. It's just running go test. That's it. And it's just fast to write. I didn't do it as an alias or as an exported function from Bash because I wanted to be able to share scripts with people at some point. And it's minimal overhead. Once upon a time, I was really anal about making everything exported functions. It was one of the reasons I don't like Z Shell over Bash, which you can't do. You can't export functions in Z Shell. The end. Also can't do Bash completion, tab completion in Z Shell. Another reason not to use it. But so let's do this. Let's do what the other one was, onChange. See, this is where the magic is. You can probably guess what this is. This is using a find, which I love. I really love me some find. So here's, it's like, one script does another one, right? So the Unix way, right? So here it is. onChange calls has changed, which is where the magic is. And when that onChange, when it detects that something's changed, if any of the files has changed, then it goes in and calls whatever its arguments are. And in this case, it's just all true do onChange blah, and it just sleeps for 5 seconds, and then it calls onChange. So this doesn't invoke any overhead at all. This is just mostly sleeping in this loop before it does a scan to see if something's changed every half a second. And how does that code work? This is where the find is. It's in has changed, if I remember right. Yep, here we go. So yet again, it's like a shell. It's like Matryoshka doll in Russia, right? So has changed calls. I usually do function calls because I never know when I'm going to have to cut and paste them into other bit of code. So this is my common way of doing this. Then we have a local -a file, and it runs changed. Well, what is changed to do? Changed is finally we have the find, and what does this do? So this takes in the looks up, creates a temporary directory with all the current changed files. It's doing some parameter expansion there to replace all the slashes with dashes so that I can keep track of the names without putting slashes in them. And then it makes a temp file and it writes those things to the file. If it doesn't exist, otherwise it checks to see if all the files are newer than the last file. So every time it runs, it writes a file that just uses as a timestamp, and then it uses the newer comparison and find to see whether any of the files in the current directory of type F that means type files, not directories, are newer than this file. And if they are, let's get a list of them all and return those. And so that way I can, now if you pass a parameter to it, it'll do, it'll pick a directory wherever you point it at. But right now it's just picking the current working directory. So that's what's going on with that. Again, that's all. If you want to go find those, you can go to RDBX, you can go to rdbxrob .live, which also has got all my streaming information on here. It's funny, it doesn't show Periscope on there. Huh, I might have to redo that. I added the Twitter thing, and that's Bork. It's Restream's fault. But anyway, if you go over here, and you can click on any of the other links. I should probably add it. Actually, I do have a Twitter one, right? Yep, there it is. But the GitLab link will take you to here, and then you can click on the dot files and you can go find it. All right, have fun with that. I tell you what, it sure has been nice to have. I at one point was just looping, and it was annoying as it was blinking on the screen all the time. So have fun. If that works, let me know. Come chat or leave me a comment. All right, bye.